Hi guys. So, as you can tell by the title of this clip, I wanted to talk about my anxiety lately. Lately, meaning, the past, little while, I guess, a few months, maybe. Um, Notably in the past 2 weeks, I guess, but I can't really talk about what's been causing this amount of anxiety, um, because that's more personal than I'm willing to share on the internet, but I can talk about the effects I've been having and what I've been doing to try to fix them. Anyway, so for the past month or so, I've been going to bed around, for the past month, since school started, I've started going to bed around 6 or 7 in the morning, most nights. Let's say at least 4 to 5 days out of the week I've been doing that, and it's usually on school days. So I go to bed at 6 or 7, and then I wake up at 8 every morning. So I either get 1 hour or 2 hours of sleep. Usually by the fourth day of a bout of this insomnia, I get really fucking delirious, and I know that if I don't sleep enough, I get way more anxious than I would otherwise. So I guess that could be one of the causes of my anxiety, but it's also an effect of my anxiety because I can't sleep, because I'm worrying or I'm whatever, procrastinating on life. So there's that, and I think I've been losing weight again as well. I'm not really sure because I try not to use a scale that often, and when I do, I don't really believe what it says because, there's so much, there's so many variables that can attribute to what your weight is on a certain day. Like, I never drink water, and I rarely drink fluids, so, I'm pretty much constantly dehydrated, and apparently that affects your weight, and at the same time, I eat a lot of salt, so that also affects your weight. So I don't really pay that much attention to it, but I've just been noticing it lately. So I don't know. I think it's probably because I've been living off soup and stuff. So I guess that's a thing. Um, I can't really think of any other sort of effects of anxiety. I've come to realize I'm really, really neurotic. In the past month or two, I've realized this, and it's either something that's always been there that I just haven't realized, or it's something new. I think it's always been there, but I just haven't realized it. So being neurotic makes me more anxious, and being anxious makes me neurotic. So it's a lovely little cycle. Um, I've also been told a lot lately that I'm worrying too much by multiple people who don't talk to each other, so it must be true, I think. Um, I do worry a lot. I worry about things that, honestly, I shouldn't even, care about. Like, someone would be like, why are you worrying about that? It doesn't make any sense. And I'll be like, yeah, I know it doesn't make any sense. They're like, well, there you have it. And I'm like, well, but still, and it's kind of dumb. I think for a little while, a lot of my anxiety was probably attributed to over socializing, because I don't like seeing people every day outside of school. Like, school, I have to see people, and that's not my choice, and I can suck it up for that, but, if I'm going out after school or on the weekend or whatever like that, um, I don't like doing that too often. It doesn't matter. I totally enjoy the company of the people I'm around. It's just I can't do it. Um, So if I go, like, I went like a week of hanging out with people like every single day after school, and I already get a lot of social interaction at school, and then there's all this social interaction after school. So I think it was just like a bit much, because I know after that week I was just like, I don't want to be alive. I just like feel like shit and stuff. So there's that. And this week I've mostly been taking a break from seeing people, and if I do, it's like really little amounts. But one of the things that's helping me with that right now is I'm planning things in advance. So I just don't like making plans on the spot. Basically, I don't like to make plans like any less than a day ahead. Usually, um, I just need warning. But I've been doing that. So for this week, well, I can actually just tell you like all the stuff I've been doing, because like it all pertains to having a schedule, which is probably the most important thing that's been helping me right now, is scheduling things ahead of time and being like mentally, emotionally, etc. prepared for them. So one of the things I've started doing, or I'm going to start doing, sort of, I went to one, but there's this group called Gab, and it takes place around Davie Street. And if you're in Vancouver, you know Vancouver, Davie Street is like basically, I don't want to say the gay street, but it's like they have a giant fucking rainbow painted across the road, and every shop window has rainbows in it, and you know it's just known as a really good, like, accepting, wonderful place, magic. So there's this thing called Gab that's around there, and basically it's a youth group, but I think there's people like from 14 years old to around my age, which is 18. Like I was one of the oldest people there, which was really weird. Um, so there's that, and it's basically, we just check in with each other. Everyone says something about how their week's been or how they're feeling, and then after everyone checks in and whatever, it's just kind of like a hangout time. So personally for me that was really kind of difficult, because I have social anxiety, and like I didn't know most of the people there. I went with like some people that I knew, but I mostly just kind of, like everyone else, was like playing DDR or running around doing crazy stuff and just having fun and stuff and talking to people. um I mostly just kind of like reclused into my own space, and I did some art and stuff, and I don't know, like the counselors like came over to me and stuff, and like they're just like, oh hey, like that looks really cool, and I'm like, thanks, and they're like, oh, what's all this about? And I'm just like, well, um, drawing is something I do to prevent myself from getting anxious, because I have social anxiety, so I'm using it to adjust to this setting a bit better, because if you're in a new situation, it feels good to have things that you've relied on before, or that you're like familiar with, to bring into that new situation, so it's less of a jarring event. So there was that, and like everyone was really, really nice, and I felt kind of bad for not reciprocating, really. Um, but I don't know. The only thing about it was that if I feel like people are taking pity on me, I find it really, really difficult to handle. So, like, after they like talked to me and stuff, I was just thinking in my head, like, well, they just came over because like that's their job, and they feel bad for you, and you're making a scene, and you're being so embarrassing, and all this stuff. And I know none of that's true. That's just like my worrying. I'm hoping none of it's true. Um, but yeah. Anyway, even though I was like kind of anxious and reclusive during that, I still really enjoyed the group, and I think if I keep going, it'll be really good, like, exposure for me, like, exposure therapy. I try to do that a fair amount, But it's good to know when to do that and when not to do it, because you should know when, like, if you're trying to be healthy by using exposure therapy, like, um, if you, it's good to push yourself to do it, because, like, obviously you're doing it because you don't really want to, or you're anxious about it, but you also have to realize when, it's going to be detrimental to you. Like, over-socializing is something that I do sometimes in an effort to stop being anxious, but it ends up making me more anxious, because I just don't have the same amount of, I just don't have the same threshold for socializing that a lot of people have. So it's good to recognize your boundaries, and I don't really know what mine are, so I'm gonna try to keep going. It's twice a week, but my friends always go on Fridays, so I'm gonna try to go on the Fridays. So there's that, and that ended up being a really big topic. Second thing I'm doing, which is like a shorter thing, is at my school we have girls group, so it's a lot like Gab, but I like it better just because I've been doing it for like I just realized I've been at my school for like 3 years, which is really crazy to me because I've never lasted that long in a school before. This better not be a phone call. Okay. So yeah, I just realized that today. Anyway, so girls group, basically once a week on Wednesdays during one of our blocks, all the girls go into this group, and they ask, our lead counselor person asks around, like, how are you feeling from 1 to 10, like, what's up, and everyone gives like a brief thing, and like once everyone goes around, we look at the people who have lower numbers, like someone's like, oh, out of 10 I'm like a 2, or like I'm a negative 5,000, or like whatever, and they don't have to talk about it, and we don't have to call them out on it. Like, anyone who wants to talk can talk. So personally, I never really talk during the girls group unless I'm giving other people advice. But it's really, really good. And last year we had a lot of really heavy stuff come up. Obviously, everything in girls group is confidential, so I'm not going to really talk about it. But, well, if I were to talk about it, I wouldn't give names. Anyway, though, it's like we've all had similar issues. Like, a lot of people in our group are struggling in their relationships, or with substance abuse, or with their parents is a huge thing. So girls group is a really good way to just get it out, and it also builds the community at my school, like with the girls. I don't really like that it's, gender segregated, but at the same time, I do feel a lot more comfortable talking to girls than guys if I don't know them that well. But, whatever. Anyway, so the last thing is my art therapy has started up again. I took it for a semester last year, and I found it really, really helpful because I've only been to a therapist once before, like one session, not one session, but one therapist with a few sessions. And I've only done that once before, and that was in like 4th grade, and I didn't get much out of it, to be honest. So my art therapist is really, really great. I didn't know she would be so therapeutic, or that I'd end up talking to her so much about my personal stuff, but I have, and it's really, really helpful, and I missed her a lot over the summer, so I've saved up all my issues to, like, rant to her about, so I have that tomorrow. Also, I got a job at Spirit Halloween store, so that's more, like, I've never worked in customer service, so I'm really excited for that. And, yeah, so tomorrow I have art, today I had girls group, tomorrow I have art therapy, Friday I have work, and then we're just gonna have to see after that, but basically that's what I've been doing to make myself better, and this video timing thing is gonna run out soon, so hope you guys are doing good, and bye!